Yo, what is good, my anime people? What is good, yo? Yo, this was wild, guys. We are getting epic stuffs on Friday, and it's only fitting because of how JoJo is going to be absent from this lineup very soon. So why not put in two heavy hitter shows back to back, or not even back to back, but these two shows are relatively separated from each other with the two new shows, Doctor Stone, and Fire Force. We are going to have a very interesting lineup, but with JoJo this week, we definitely are getting this in-game part of the fight of this fight. Like my man Geo has gone not beyond time, but he pretty much just bent reality to his will. So anything he needed reality, or AKA this guy Stan, who is changing certain parts of stuff that happen within the moments. He's taking all of that and he's like, nah, it didn't happen. You're back to where you ate, where you started, or where you first left off once you activated that and everything. So not only that, it happens over the time, like the time span of multiple upon multiple, like decisions that he's gonna make, even in the past or that he's already tried to make. So practically, we have reached a new ridiculous status of power in JoJo, and we are now looking at the most powerful stand of all time, Golden Experience Requiem. Um, yeah, that's about it. Have an awesome one. I'll talk to you in the next one. No, literally, our boy, the boss, should have won. Like, it should have been over at the very jump. Trish winds up surviving only because of Bucciati, which is amazing. And not only did he save her, but because of something her father did, also is the reason why it kind of saved her. So it's a very strange situation how this happens, but with him destroying the that orb looking thing last week behind his head, it put him into a position where not only did he have that have the power to overcome Chariot Requiem, he then was, practically victorious when it came down to then getting closest to the arrow and getting it. But with how the Chariot Requiem guy is, he still practically didn't allow that to happen by um, not only with him like decompose, like dying and disappearing. He was, the manipulator of the souls, so all the souls were being very loosely, let go of the bodies that they had newly inhabited, and they were about to go into their old bodies. So you have that kind of going on with this like blue misty smoke going, and then you have also the fact to think of. Now I could use Dio. You also have the fact that everything that's popping off around them is like the same. It's the same in the grand scheme of the very first time it happens, almost, but it's much quicker because I don't know how to explain it. It just was quicker, or almost as if they gotten used to that. So when they went back to their bodies, they were up faster. But thanks to Bucciati, doing the same thing that King Crimson did, he pretty much destroys the orb that's behind his head, which then, seeing how Chariot already was pretty badly destroyed after the first one, to doing it again would absolutely, finish him off, be the end of it all, which it was. And that is why we see this instance of him just understanding that, oh my god, if he does this, it's going to reset everybody's souls. It's going to put me in a body much further away from the arrow that I am right now. And not only that, it's possible that Trish could live if, because he knows that's not her body, and now she's about to go back into her own body with no damage taken besides to her stand, which also equates to her body in general. So it's almost like she just took damage and at the same time went into another body and forgot about that damage. And the same is opposite for Mista, who now has to go back to his body that's already damaged. So very, very interesting overall with how how saving Trish was going to work out. I didn't want her to go out. Like, I thought it would be a waste to let her go out like that. So it's very cool to see that she is gonna be, relatively still a character for now. I mean, I'm not gonna put the chance past Crimson doing something ridiculous, but to see Geo's power to this extent, it's so strong that even he himself doesn't know what it's going on. It really kind of gives you that, oh man, okay, now JoJo is truly just JoJo in this. Like, they're just getting out of all things JoJo and putting it in this episode. So that was really awesome. But the awesome part of it all is we literally just see Golden Experience like talking straight up like he's the main boss this whole time. Like, he's like, oh yeah, my owner, the guy controlling me, he don't even know what I can do, man. Like, this is my power. But once it's all said and done, he's the one controlling me again. Don't worry, he'll beat the crap out of you. Like, it's crazy to see these stands talking, and not only talking, but to see this type of power only makes me wonder what could be next. Always, what could be next? And to be fair, for some reason, Geo's stand looked quite similar to the Diamond's Unbreakable final boss guy with the who was blowing up stuff for some reason to me. Like, his eyes, or maybe it was just like that weird, he's like a really weird skinny version. Like, not everybody has these skinny stands. Like, all the stands used to be very, very buff and muscular, and I think that kind of translated more from the characters who were bringing them out. But not only that, the guy who, in the seasons where the stands were still buff and diamonds are unbreakable, we had this skinny stand that, had a ridiculous power not only to flick, to flick dimes or nickels at people that have explosives on them, but to set those explosive anywhere, and also created a human walking bomb pretty much. So there's a lot of things that these skinny, like, weird, overpowered stands seemingly do, and Geo's always had one, and now it's even skinnier. So it has a interesting new, like, design that I really, really enjoy that they gave it. So I'm really happy with overall everything that came out of this. Like, the animation, my guys, my anime people, this is the animation of just, wow, oh my god. Like, I literally had to just pause it on just them floating in the air, like the first time he notices them, and after he's done beating a hollow shell, which I also thought it was really dope to see Golden Experience just getting blasted, getting absolutely hammered with fist, just brrr, and then they're like, oh yeah, that's an empty shell, isn't it? Ooh, that's not good. Like, I honestly thought he won. I was telling Shy Lion, go check out his channel if you haven't already, but I was telling him it's over. The boss won. I don't know why people are still fighting it. Like, he's got it. GG's in chat. And, they have to really pull something out to make it all fit. And they pull it out. They're like, here's the pull out button. And we're about to hit it. It's been ignited. So I am just happy it all looked relatively dope at the end of the day. I mean, this animation was definitely saved for the end of this season. There's no real comparison besides all of the stuff that's happened relatively recently. that compares to what we saw in animation quality this week. It was phenomenal. And I know I'll be seeing this animation, or at least like this snippet of the fight, over and over again on YouTube. So be prepared for that. I'm just warning you. I'm calling it now. It was by far the sickest looking thing that I've seen in JoJo, and I've watched all of it. So that's really saying something. So, like I was saying, it's kind of scary to think where they're going with all this, guys. Like, this is just the beginning, supposedly. You know, like, there's still, well, I guess not, it's not the beginning, you know what I mean? But this is the beginning of these stand powers that just humanly break your mind, you know? So, what we see at the end of all this, I believe, is just Geo making the only thing possible to happen in this time and period is whatever his stand deems to be possible. And what he deemed to be possible in this time or reality is that he was still standing still. The bullets were about to be loaded. It almost looked like the bullets were going to be another aspect of this, because I just can't tell yet. You know what I mean? Like, literally, he stopped the bullets from happening, and then this Mista is about to shoot the bullets again. And then not only that, this man is so freaking powerful that he grabs like a pebble and flicks it with his stand, and because of that, it sends it through like a building or like some weird, just like you know, it might not be like somewhere you live, but it's definitely a tall statured building, and cuts it in half. And now you know, it's about to fall on the guy. He dodges that, but the things that broke off of it or had contact with Golden Experience then turned into scorpions to try to penetrate his hand, which he tried to block the pebble with, and it went through and still went through a building. And these scorpions then try to put the poison in his open wound to kill him as quickly as possible. That's the only thing he did besides, you know, absolutely just pummel him in the face afterwards, at the very end, when he just absolutely destroyed his ability and showed him that it's been nullified pretty much. But yeah, it's clear as day that Geo is unaware of just how powerful he is when he flicks a pebble and, you know, does all that stuff, when he probably could have done something even crazier than that. You know, he could have made that whole entire building turn into something much more potent than just some scorpions, man. Like, come on. He's definitely figuring it out, and there's a chance that he's about to just make this all look so dang ridiculous at the end of it all. But he's already throwing in his uselesses, so we all know that not a lot of people have survived this like assault of punches. So if Crimson comes out alive, that's saying something right there. Not to mention with how much power is behind this new stand. I just want to see now what happens after all this. Like, does Geo become relevant ever again, or is this just his domain now? Is he always going to be in this area, you know, living out the purpose that him and Bucciati set out to do in the first place, which was get drugs out of the city, you know, get this gang related people who are just selling drugs and aren't helping anybody in a good way out of their towns. And now that they got the boss at the final doorstep, everybody who's lost their life up to this point seemingly helped him get this arrow. But what it really looked like was Bucciati's being reborn pretty much into the arrow, into his hand. Like, the smoke and all that stuff was probably just more of an illustration of all of the focus and goals that they have been working on together to get to that point. And after it all came together, it was the arrow that was going to seal the fate of the boss. So I think it was more of a poetic thing that we got there with this cloud and him turning into the arrow type of thing. But he did say he was being reborn, so take it as you will. And to think that he stabbed himself with this arrow and it completely blew a hole in his chest absolutely freaked me out. But it makes sense that he, out of all people, would be chosen and could pull off something this ridiculously wild. So With all that being said, I hope you guys have an awesome one, and take care and peace. I'm the Anime G. Have an awesome night, evening, morning, whatever the case it is when you watch this, and take care.